What's up, friends? I'm Humanist, joined by the Zekent, and we've got some actually pretty wonderful matches that we're gonna play for your pleasure. We're gonna show you. We're gonna cast it.
We're not playing.
Yeah. WESG. These are actually pre-recorded because these games already happened, but we wanted to bring it to you and share it with the community over here. So hope you guys are gonna have some fun through these matches. Zekent?
Absolutely. I mean, these are World Electronic Sports games, and we got some pretty exciting teams going on right here. We got Singapore versus Indonesia. Right after that, we got China versus Korea. The winner of those two matches will be facing off in the grand finals. So come take a look.
I like that you didn't say which teams were in the third game. I was like, wait.
As far as I know, I don't know, right?
Yeah. So honestly, we're not gonna have a lot of film, a lot of analysis in between games or anything like that. Shin Kaigen has cut this up for your pleasure to get straight into the action. So without further ado, Shin, roll this thing.
Let's do it.
All right, as you can see right there, these players are, doing the normal thing. They're live on stage. This is WESG. This is actually a pretty legit tournament.
Absolutely.
That was happening over there. So I think these guys were all happy to get flown out and represent their regions.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a particularly exciting event for all of them, right? Because this is an event that's happening in Shanghai, so relatively closer than flying out to like North America or something. So this should be fairly exciting. I'm really excited to see how all these regions clash. Yeah,
this is gonna be fun. Oh, these guys look like they're getting pretty close to getting into the game. Also, I'm pretty sure that the drafts have happened as far as we're concerned. So we shouldn't be sitting through like a draft analysis kind of phase. We should, once we get going, we'll hop right into the game. And there you go. There you go. So Zekent, talk about maybe these heroes you're seeing.
I got Rona, Cruel, Adagio, Vox, and Lance up against Batiste. We got Celeste, we got Sam, we got Arden, we got Glaive. So it looks like the right team is going to be going pretty heavily into those ganks. So Team Indonesia is going to play very aggressively early on. Singapore, though, they do have the late game. Looking at the late game Vox, Cruel, and Rona, if they are able to scale up, they'll be incredibly tough to take down.
Yeah, that's a pretty tanky little comp they got going on there. But here we have it, players making their way out onto the map. Now, this is actually something new for me that I'm seeing for the first time. You see the role icon next to the player.
Yeah, those are actually, they show up if your account level is below level 5. So, spectator, get on that.
We'll talk to the spec guy later on that.
So I want to point out something real quick before we get started. We have actually Batiste on Team Indonesia going a little bit of the weapon path. So he has a weapon blade already in his inventory. I wonder if he's going to go for a weapon Batiste or if he's going to just swap into Crystal.
Well, if we're going to see that kind of like, 2 CP, 2 weapon, that might be what's going on. Now, it looks like these guys are trying to set up for like a surprise gank, but...
Absolutely. We already have Team Indonesia invading on both the buffs of Team Singapore. But Singapore is answering very, very effectively. We do have Lance jumping into the fray. He's going to be not able to take away that camp. So, Singapore, a little bit losing out right here. They got one buff for themselves. They were able to take the weapon orb away from Indonesia, but they lost both their buffs in exchange.
So, all right, a little bit of a miss on that one, but we'll see how it's going to play out now. 3 players from each team up in this top lane.
4 for Singapore.
4 over here. This is a lot of pressure. That's going to be your first blood as Kroll comes on through. That's DefQ taking the kill. He's going to be happy to do so. So he had that weapon buff. He's going to get the first blood. This is a great start for the Kroll.
Absolutely. This is actually extremely good for Team Singapore. They were able to scout out through Lance the fact that Indonesia was invading onto their Crystal Orb, and because they saw them, they were able to collapse on them with 4 members and just take them out before they reached the lane.
Super smart plays. Another thing, I mean, as far as vision, did you see any sort of advantages there? Because that's super important.
It's actually quite interesting because Team Singapore, even though they were deep invading, they were able to drop a little bit of scout cams down. Team Indonesia did not leave any scout cams on their side of the jungle, so they were easily, Team Singapore was very easily able to invade them without being spotted.
All right, well, that's a lesson to the viewers right there. So we got a laning Glaive over here. He should be having a good time. Level 2 to the 1 of the Rona. Once again, things are just kind of in the laning phase at this point. Players making their rotations through. It's like you clear your jungle, you move to the lane, you try and get a gank. If you don't, what do you do?
Yeah, there's nothing too surprising right here. We see Batiste roaming around the map, just looking for opportunities to gank, get a couple kills for himself, or get some assists and help his teammates snowball ahead. But looking at the team compositions, we actually do have Arden picking up those flares. So he is going to be able to scout out all those scout cams a little bit more effectively and just deny vision from the opposing team.
Nice. That's actually super important. I think there's something to be learned from that. I really like it when my captain's able to pick that up. It adds a whole lot to what you're able to accomplish. These mouse inverters coming through into the box. He gets stunned up against the wall. And the tail's going to be off the mark. That was a lot of damage, and he definitely would have been dead there.
Absolutely, and right there, picking up those early sprint boots is incredibly effective. Just being able to avoid that first gank, especially if multiple members of the enemy team are coming down to gank you, it really allows your team to have a little bit more pressure across the rest of the map.
Right, that's actually super smart right there. Dodgio gets that gift fire down. Agent Wrath tries to get the damage down onto Celeste. She's going to be annoyed. She's burning right now. She's dropping down incredibly low, but I don't think she's going to die off that.
Yeah, she'll be just fine right there. She's going to go recall back to base, heal up a little bit. We do have Cruel invading onto this Batiste a little bit, and he's going to take a little bit of damage. And Team Singapore is actually putting a lot of pressure onto these lanes right now. And they do have fairly powerful early game pressure, especially with their rotations. That being said, Indonesia, once Samuel hits level 5, level 6, he's going to be a big pressure. He'll put a lot of pressure onto that box, just pushing out the lane and constantly throwing those mouse and verdicts from long range.
And do you think that's why we saw that gank rotate down into the lane? You know, he got away, he had the boots, but okay, Celeste able to find the Cruel.
Yeah, Cruel invading just a little bit too deep into the enemy jungle right there, was going for that weapon orb buff once again, but just was not able to pick it up. And I do think Singapore is playing this fairly smart. They are putting a lot of pressure on the heroes that are most likely to scale into later game. And because they have the liquid team composition, as long as they don't fall behind by too much, they should be completely fine in this match. To Indonesia, though, they should really be pressing with what they have.
All right now, level 4 on the Samuel. Celeste obviously trying to get to that level 8, get the overdrive on the Heliogenesis is going to help a lot. It's actually very hard to avoid that arcane fire from the Adagio when you don't have that range on the sword.
Absolutely, but once Celeste hits level 8, she will be doing much better, and that is kind of the saving grace of Indonesia's team composition up against Singapore. If she is able to hit level 8 without falling particularly behind, she's actually going to be putting a lot of pressure onto the turrets of Singapore, just sieging from range, and Singapore is really going to be forced to engage a fairly long distance. Rowan's going to have to jump into the fray, Cruel's going to have to get his From Hell's Heart onto a key target, and if they are unable to do that, Celeste is just going to pummel them along with Samuel.
Yeah, I guess it'll be all about kiting back at that point. Up here in this top lane, it's pretty much these two melees just going toe-to-toe, trying to get those last hits, stay in lane as long as possible. You see the Batiste continuing to roam the Kroll as well. Kroll finding the Batiste there, forced out. He wants the element of surprise.
Absolutely, and this is one of the reasons we see Cruel picked up so often in 5v5 matches, is that he puts a lot of pressure on the enemy jungle. He is very easily able to roam into the enemy jungle, camp some bushes, and just anyone who shows up, they are going to have a very rough time.
Rough time indeed. Looks like Fox is starting to get into that position where Samuel can bully him out of this lane. And Kroll, once again, he's just hanging in these side brushes. You can see the scout cam, very important there. And now he kind of spidey sensed that one right there. Drop the scout cam, he'll clear out that vision.
Absolutely, here comes the Solar Storm though. Will it hit anyone? Ooh, Ronan barely dodges out. She would not have gone down anyway, but it was a nice dodge anyway.
That was still like style points to hit it from there. Not really knowing exactly where that Rona was going to be moving, so feels good.
Absolutely. And this right now, this early game is going fairly calmly, so this is actually in the favor of Team Singapore. They are able to pick up some early items, not really falling behind, not really dropping any kills. So Team Indonesia really needs to pick up the pace. Otherwise, the engage of Singapore might be a little bit too powerful. If they are not able to protect Celeste and Samuel, they do have good peel with the Arden, with the Batiste, with the Glaive, but there's a lot of dive on the team of Singapore.
I mean, do they ever initiate, or is it only like you initiate on a target that leaves themselves vulnerable? Because I mean, with the Glaive, the Batiste.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough for Team Singapore. That being said, Indonesia has to play a very measured game. They have to have most of their team members together. So if Team Singapore is able to do some split pushing, it can be very effective against the team composition of Indonesia, because there's not really anyone who can match a Cruel or a Rona one-on-one.
Yeah, you definitely don't want either of those heroes on top of you. Glaive with the defensive afterburn, he'll get himself out of harm's way. Kroll again looking to invade up in that top jungle. And down in bottom, it's the Lance just trying to help out the Vox as much as possible. You see Kroll, trying to look for the invade, maybe waiting for that cam to respawn. But that scout cam's down, so they're going to know exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see Arden picking up that super scout pretty early on, so he's going to be able to drop a lot of scout cams all over the place. And we actually do see the Batiste going weapon. So this is a fairly interesting build. I find it a little odd that he's going weapon in this specific matchup, because even though there is a lot of diving on Team Singapore, it feels like Team Indonesia's team composition is built more around kiting, and I feel a more supportive or crystal path would be a little bit more effective here.
Yeah, I could see where that makes sense right here. And I'm really curious to see what he does go for his first item. Shikaigen was talking about maybe breaking point first.
All
We'll
right.
see if this Kroll's going to be getting in trouble. And he turns it around. These guys are ready to fight me. The Adagio comes over, he heals him, he gets the buff, and immediately just goes to work. From L's heart, just used defensively there. You could see he's in a very dangerous position.
Yeah, this is exactly where we see Team Singapore's comp kind of shine, where Cruel is going to be a very tough frontliner to take down as long as he is able to do a lot of damage, and Dajo constantly using his Gift of Fire, healing him up, is going to make him an incredibly tough threat. But in the meantime, we just have both teams mostly content to farm. And even though this game is going at a fairly slow pace, it is in the favor of Team Singapore, but we do have an engagement.
Thanks, turn up. Hey, a 4-man Githyan wall feels good, man. You can die, rest in peace, it's okay. Sleep tight, Lance, because you got that 4-man Githyan wall.
Yeah, there's no way he was going to make it out of that one. That being said, fantastically played, allowed his teammates to get out, even though there was a gun that was on their heads.
Oh, Vox gets it! Goes toe-to-toe, playing some chicken with Samuel and able to get the kill.
All right, I guess I'm completely wrong. I did say that Samuel was going to be able to put some pressure onto that Vox, but Vox able to dodge around those Miles and Burks very effectively, just picking up that kill. Got his breaking point already, 60 CS.
Yeah.
To Samuel's 40, and right now Vox just has a pretty commanding lead in that bottom lane.
Absolutely, and you're right. I mean, that breaking point on the Vox, the weapon Vox, still a very strong hero right now. If you're able to get a couple of those breaking point stacks and you're not too far behind in a fight, it's very easy to turn it around.
Absolutely, absolutely. And right now we do see some scout cams spotting out the invasion of Singapore, but I don't think Indonesia is going to be doing too much about that. We do see Rona on the top side of the map, allowing her 4 teammates to rotate to the bottom very, very quickly, and this could be dangerous.
Samuel, get in there!
Ooh.
From hell apart, they're going to catch him at max range. Just
He
a
is
tip
gone.
on the roof. Githyan wall stuns him up. Vox don't die. Okay, Vox are going to be okay. He's got the healing flask. But what a rotate, a 4-man rotate just for the Samuel, really showing that this is a key target for them.
Absolutely, I think Samuel actually played that very well. Even though he went down, he was able to take down any of the minions that were still on that turret, so protecting that turret from falling for just a little bit longer. So fairly well played right there. We do see Rona starting to rotate down toward mid, and this is where I think Singapore is going to be able to pick up with their team composition. They're able to rotate around the map much more quickly than Team Indonesia, and because they need fewer members of their team to win fights, it's going to be very tough for Singapore to match Indonesia to match where Singapore is moving to.
Well, right now they are in mid lane. Fearsome Shade will catch 2, I believe, right there. Turret's going to go down anyway. And suddenly you're in a really rough place. I mean, that's a big ultimate to not have.
Absolutely, absolutely. And right now, you can see Singapore is just methodically moving around the map, picking up objective after objective, leaving scout cams in locations where they know that Indonesia has to pass by. And by doing so, it really means that they will not be caught off guard while they're rotating around the map. But we do see Glaive and Arden rotating toward that top lane and potentially pushing down that turret while Singapore is occupied.
Indonesia very close to taking that mid turret right there. It's pretty low. Kill's gonna come out. Another stun, double stun coming on through. More collapse blocked off. Oblivion's coming through. Very defensive. You could tell that they thought they were going on the Celeste hard there. Gauntlet comes down. Dagio's able to reflex and walk on out. Solar Storm, Lance dropping low, throws the fountain. Can he get himself out of here? He is slowed up and taken down. Indonesia starting to get some work done now. With this numerical advantage, what do they take off of the map?
It does look like they are going for that Ghost Wing, so potentially looking to take advantage of that buff, taking advantage of the extra gold getting from Ghost Wing. But in the meantime, we do see Vox pushing that bot lane. Samuel is trying to match, but this is a very dangerous situation at this Ghost Wing.
What's gonna happen? Dude, this Kroll can do a lot of work. He's gonna go in. Celeste able to seal the deal on that one. Looks like Death Q is going to go down. Arden stays alive, but walks right into the Vox. Vox, hello. Wait for it. Right over the top side. Adagio throughout the verse, keeping himself alive. Vox is able to get a double kill. Now chasing forward. 12 breaking point stacks, looking for more. Go get that, Celeste. You got another Sonic Zoom minion. Almost able to take him down. How much health did he have? I don't know. Feels like about 10. Come on through. Without a healing flask, that Samuel was dead. Wow. This Vox. Blue City
he was sitting like
really
20 breaking point stacks.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly where you want to be. In the meantime, though, the Glaive that you mentioned earlier finally gets onto this turret up here. Or, no, defending as Rona got up onto the turret. And she's going to be able to get it. Almost feeling like she might sacrifice herself. And getting out.
Yeah, Rona just does not care. Look at her build. She has a Serpent Smash, she has a Reflex Block, she has a Metal Jacket very early on. She knows that she's going to be matched up against that Glaive for the most part, and she just will not. She'll be able to ignore the damage for now.
It's really interesting. I feel like I've been seeing more and more of these types of builds come out here, and it must be in response to the amount of damage that's actually coming out having 5 players on that.
Absolutely. I think being able to fill that early melee jack is actually extremely effective, able to negate a lot of damage coming out from the opposing team. Right now we do have a fairly tight engagement right now.
Gauntlet comes on down. Vox, he's going to get taken down in the beginning. Super important for Indonesia. Let's see if they look for some more now. An Impale to disrupt things. Another Githian wall buying some time. Lance will be the second to fall. They'll be looking for more now. Rona into the fray, out of the fray. More like she'll get slow there onto the glaive. And it's going to be an afterburn coming in onto the crawl. I don't think anybody's able to catch him. Now, is there going to be a Vanguard coming out?
It's a little bit
1
close.
second, he's going to get the Vanguard. They're going to go for it. This would be the kill. Yeah, that's the kill. Glaive, a smart play to stay on target there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love to see Team Indonesia take some objectives out of this right now. They do have the mid turret down to just a sliver of health. The bot turret is being aggressed on, but Rona and Vox are both rotating down. Celeste and Batista are almost certainly going to get that mid lane turret. But right now, Samuel is in a very difficult position.
Well, this is kind of one of those positions where I guess if you feel like it's worth throwing your life away to get the turret, I mean, what's your thought?
I think that's actually a very heads-up play by Samuel. Even though he was taken down, his team was able to take down mid turret. It looks like they're going to be able to take down the top lane turret too, with 3 members of their team rotating up there and no response from Team Singapore. There they go, 3 turrets for about 1 kill. Totally worth it.
Totally worth. All right. So right now we're 6-8. In favor of Indonesia. The overall net worth actually in favor of Singapore, but this is a very close game.
Absolutely. I mean, goal difference is only barely 100. Like, it's been less than 1,000 for the majority of the game. There was a small gap prior to those 3 turret takedowns, but Indonesia just closed it right back up. The moment that Singapore pulls ahead, Indonesia is just able to close things right back up. But I really want to see how these 2 team compositions match up against each other in a full heads-on team fight, because Singapore, they have a hard engage. That being said, Indonesia's peel is going to be extremely instrumental in being able to defend their carries.
Yeah, I think in that last fight for me, it was just the fact that the Box was the first target to be taken out. You know,
Right.
He got afterburned back, taken down incredibly quickly. It's going to be a different story if the Box does stay alive.
Absolutely. We saw how much damage he could do if he is left to his own devices. They'll get built up, breaking point stacks extremely quickly, and just absolutely obliterate anything that's in his path.
Right now, both teams just kind of feeling the situation out. You can see Indonesia feels like something's happening. There's only 4 of them here as Glaive's moved up to top. So this might be like a 4-man contest with Glaive pushing the top lane potentially. But they got to get in there. And they waited way too long.
Celeste didn't cut.
Can you get back? That's the reflex burn. Celeste is going to go down. Wait for it's going to come on through. That's a dead Batiste and a double kill coming on through for the Vox. Huge plays for Singapore. I mean, a ghost swing into the double kill. They're going to easily be pushing this.
Yeah, and they were able to open that gold lead right back up. Glaive on the top side is pushing in, but Indonesia is almost certainly going to lose this turret. It's at a sliver of health. Blacklaw is on the field now at 15 minutes in, and it looks like Singapore is just going to be a little bit more aggressive, constantly pushing into those turrets of Indonesia's base. Will they be able to take this down? It's going to be a tough defense for Singapore. In the meantime, Glaive.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to see what's happening up and top. The red
It's
mist.
close.
Yeah, this Glaive's got it, though. He's going to be able to get a kill right there. This is going to be the first base turret going down in the favor of Singapore. So Indonesia on the back foot. Glaive able to get a turret and a kill up in top. So, I don't know, kind of a mix.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting because Glaive was able to take down Rona one-on-one. That's huge for his team. The fact that he can split push against that Rona is going to be absolutely instrumental. Singapore on the other side, they were able to take down a base turret, so the armory is exposed, and that's going to mean trouble for the side of Team Indonesia. Kroll, little bit out of position right there. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. All right, so Indonesia, they've got a little advantage off of that kill. Now they can move in, maybe look to flex a little bit. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about, though, is wave management. It looks like Indonesia is actually fairly adept at making sure waves are pushing against their opponents.
Let's team fight. Oh my goodness. Blue City just chopped down. That is the Vox down immediately in the beginning of the fight. Super smart plays coming out of Indonesia, and what a way to collapse and just focus your target down.
Absolutely. That was absolutely incredible by the side of Team Indonesia, picking out the correct target. Singapore, they need to dive, but they can't just leave Vox unattended.
Cannot leave him unattended. I'm looking at these item builds here, and I think it's just super smart. On this Glaive that we do have the Poison Shiv. Now he's got like the same other 2 items, Serpent's Mask, Breaking Point, that the Roan has, but that's why he's going to be able to go one-on-one. That Poison Shiv cuts down like everything she's trying to achieve.
Absolutely. All the lifesteal that is coming out from Rona and the 4-5 health that she's generating is just cut by quite a bit. And it really allows Glaive to win all of these engagements against her. Even though Rona generally is a better duelist, she has fallen quite far behind. Glaive with 4 kills to his name, Rona 0. It's going to be a very interesting game of how the split push ends up happening because Cruel can potentially still match the Glaive.
All right, well, Kroll's in mid. Samuel's up in top all by himself. The rest of the team fighting around the Black Claw. Now the jump is in Indonesia. They need to go ahead and get back without losing anybody. They're going to lose the Celeste off the bat. That's not who they're looking for. With the Gauntlet down, the Verse coming out, this is just a huge cluster of a team fight. In Singapore, they've lost their Vox. They want to regroup, get back into their base. But Samuel, he's taken down the top. I don't even know if he got the armory there, but they're about to lose their middle base turret at this point. It looks like the armory is incredibly low. Samuel's going to be taking that. This is nuts. Indonesia, what a push. Using this Black Claw to maximum advantage at this point, just kind of kiting in and out. Samuel does go down in the top side. Adagio able to get that kill. Rona, have you overstepped yourself? Oh no, Ink goes down. And Lance going to be buying a little bit of time, but there's breaking points building up. 20 breaking point stacks. He's looking for the afterburn. He knocks the Adagio back. He says, Lance, I'll turn around. I'll kill you if you want to come over here. It's no problem for me. He's about to get a Vanguard and boost it on in. Adagio is going to die very soon. 515 damage on that. Well, it's going to be the Lance. And then Kroll, you're feeding yourself over. Triple kill coming through for the Glaive. And I don't think any resonance bounces are going to be coming on through. Vox, he might decide to chase on in there. I think a little bit greedier of a player, he would have chased that down, but my goodness, what a Glaive.
Yeah, and throughout that entire time, Samuel was able to take down the top armory, so this is a huge advantage going to the side of Team Singapore. Even though they are a little bit behind in gold, they are massively ahead in terms of map control. They are able to put pressure onto every single one of the lanes of Team Singapore at all times, and now they're taking Ghost Wing. This is going to be a huge buff for them.
Huge buff. I mean, the Glaive, I can imagine what it's going to be like if he gets in there with his Ghost Wing buff on top of what he's been able to do already. Journey Boots up and running. This guy's really coming into his own. The Celeste, I mean, this is one of the key picks on their team we haven't talked about too much. She has been going down a lot in the beginning of the fights, but she's really coming into her own.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right now, 227. Scoreline not that incredible, but she's playing a control Celeste. She's dropping a lot of crowd control, just constantly slowing her opponents, stunning them, dealing a good amount of damage from the backline with Helios and Solar Storm. Even though she's not the majority of the damage of her team, with Glaive on the front line, they really have to be worried about Celeste too.
And there you have it. There's your item builds. We can just soak it in real quick. And wow, what a spectator cam worker we had there showing us great efficiency.
I know, that was perfect time. We were just talking about the items and it just popped right on up. All right, in any case, we do have Blue City on that Vox. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, so I think that will be the priority target for Team Indonesia. If they are able to take down Vox, they're almost certainly going to win most of these team fights from now on. But the question is, will they be able to get to the backline? Will they be able to get to him properly?
Oh, they start with an Impale. Glaive's on the front side. The two-man getting the wall to start. From Hell's Heart's going to connect onto the... I think that was Batiste
down
as well. Yeah, they've lost Glaive. I wouldn't imagine that the chase is going to happen here. You've got the Rona, you've got the Kroll. They're going to get onto the Arden. That's the War Trials he's trying to get back. Fountain, it's not enough. And suddenly, with two heroes down for Indonesia, Singapore seeing some signs of life. We're going to be seeing maybe that foe splitter into the fray combo here. Red Mist, he's going to be stunned up, trying to get back. Samuel, he's in the Drifting Dark. He's finally out of the Drifting Dark. Kroll's on target, onto the Samuel. Weakness stacks building up.
Oh.
Two-man Impale coming on through there. And Batiste trying to stand his ground. He's able to get one. He takes the Rona down, but then flanked, he goes down. A 3-on-2 chase. Celeste, you got to get some godly plays right now. A couple more basic attacks.
One more hit.
Down with the Sonic Zoom. Adagio with the flank, saying, Samuel, you
They're
shall
so
not
low.
pass. In an ace, at literally the moment the Glaive was spawning, is a
Glaive teleporting! Glaive
massive
teleported!
fight.
Glaive teleported to their base!
Oh! All right, so he gets the teleport boots. He tries to go for the God play. He will be forced out. That's the afterburn's going to be on cooldown here, about 10 seconds. Do they look to just kind of round him up here?
I think they're trying to close in on him, but he's going to be able, he's so slippery with that afterburn. That's a fantastic heads-up play by Glaive. He knew that if he just stayed to defend, Team Singapore would crash into his base, would take down that armory, because he could not defend 1 against 4. But with that teleport, he forced 2 members of Team Singapore to back because there's no one that can match him.
So smart. So intelligent of plays. And now, Black Claw will be captured up here by Singapore, barring some miracle coming through. There's no Solar Storm. That's on, well, it's on cooldown for a reason.
It's on cooldown for sure.
It's on cooldown. Yeah.
It was a good try. It was a good try. Black Claw is going to be pushing into the base of Team Indonesia, though. What do they want to do? Do they want to try going for a backdoor? Do they want to just defend it? They're going to need to take a fight real soon. Otherwise, Team Singapore is just going to crash into their base and end this game, potentially.
This is going to be a devastating push, especially if they lose a key member right off the bat. Now, that is going to be a Crucible turned off there? I don't even know. They tried to block that Impale coming on in. Now, Lance Another two-man route to start this off. All they have to do is apply damage, move forward, maybe look to take out a vulnerable target. Almost going to go down. Lance dropping low. They don't want to chase into that. Samuel and his Drifting Dart trying to get the splash damage with the Malice and Verdicts. This middle armory is going to be going down. One more attack. There you go. We'll see if they decide to switch into maybe top or bottom and look to take one of these other objectives down. Looks like they're happy with this. Just take a clean middle take and then just get back to Ghostwing.
Yeah, I mean, Lance and Vox both took a good chunk of damage from Celeste and Samuel, so backing off is probably the right move right now. Looking at that Ghostwing, they know that Ninja is all in their base, so they will not be able to defend against this. And now, with that Ghostwing buff, they are going to potentially look to push into the base of Team Indonesia.
Wow. Honestly, what a turnaround in the last few minutes here from Team Singapore. You know, they had a strong early start. You talked about what the Kroll could do, what the Rona could do, just holding your lane now, Lance rotating around. They did fall behind, and suddenly it feels like they definitely have full control of this game.
Absolutely, and with that early army fall of the side of Team Singapore, Indonesia looked like they had a very commanding lead, and they were able to put a lot of pressure on the map. But a fantastically played couple of team fights by Team Singapore really put them back in the lead, and now it's really Indonesia on the back foot, even though they still have most of their base remaining.
Do you think Indonesia's capable of taking just like a straight up team fight, or do they need to do something sneaky like they did before with like the teleport when their opponent's pushing?
It's going to be interesting. They have to be able to lock down his Vox, but he is just constantly staying in the back line, staying behind his front line, staying behind Lance, Cruel, Rona. 3 heroes that are just so tough to break through. And as long as Vox does not get himself caught out, he should be completely fine.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really smart adaptation. You know, we saw him get picked earlier, but he corrected those mistakes, and that's what it's all about. You know, maybe there's some games that's his play style, right? And that's where he's going to be performing best when he's aggressive in the front like that, but he makes those corrections, and suddenly his team finds himself ahead. This Ghostwing buff is going to be on just a little bit longer here. We'll see if Singapore wants to get anything done.
Yeah, absolutely. Both sides are looking a little... Ooh. That was close. Really sneaky right there coming out from Lance. Glaive is pushing into the side of Team Singapore, though. This is going to be... I mean, he's going to be able to recall no problem whatsoever. But we'll see what Singapore does to match. It looks like we do see a Solar Storm come in, stopping some recalls, but that's not going to be doing too much against the side of Team Singapore. They do have 2 members back in their base defending, and this might be a good opportunity for Indonesia to move out onto the map.
Well, you see them moving forward, moving that vision line forward as well. It's super important as long as they can get map control, that they get the vision control as well. Can't be caught by surprise with hero like Kroll.
I like the Echo pickup on Arden. Being able to drop 2 gauntlets in a fight is going to be extremely instrumental. Just being able to just prevent Singapore from moving around freely, especially with their team composition. Locking down a Kroll, locking down a Rona, locking down a Lance even, is going to be great.
Now, it would be super troll if you get 1 gauntlet down and die before using the second. That's always like one of the worst feels bad, man.
Hopefully that does not happen for him, so he'll have to watch out for it. Make sure he doesn't get picked off. We do see a big wave potentially pushing to the side of Singapore in that top lane. So they're going to have to make some moves very quickly.
Well, things have kind of quieted down in the last few minutes as both teams realize that this game is on a knife's edge. One big team fight win could spell victory for either Indonesia or Singapore.
Blackclaw is spawning.
It's going to be spawning, and Glaive, he's moving sneakily into this top lane area. We'll see if he looks to just try to go one-on-one with his Rona or just stay sneaky in the woods.
Yeah, it looks like Cruel is trying to loop around until the carries. Oh, it's going to be a 5-on-4.
Here we go. They're going to start it off now. A defensive afterburn from Helsar's going to come in, trying to boomerang, but it's not going to get caught there. Glaive, he wants to get onto the Kroll. No, he switches over to the Vox. Oh! The Vox is able to take him down. Kroll is able to get the last hit. The wait for it comes through, silencing up Indonesia. Indonesia able to take down the Adagio. Now that's going to be the second gauntlet coming on through for this fight. Vox takes down the Batiste. Rona is on key target. That's the Celeste dropping low. She'll go down to the basic attacks coming out of the Rona. And Indonesia is on the run with only Arden and Samuel staying alive. He'll block off the Impale, but stunned up by the Githian wall. Just a final Oblivion will come down as Singapore take a massive team fight victory. The Ace will move into the base and be claiming their win here. What a way to take this first game.
And that was incredible coming out from Team Singapore. We were actually saying Indonesia needs to do something sneaky to win a team fight. But Singapore are the ones that made a sneaky play. They took a 5-4 team fight, which Indonesia thought they had in the bag.
Yeah.
Rona teleported behind them and jumped on the back line. That was fantastic.
I mean, that's one of my favorite things to watch in these competitive matches is just when you can be like 1-2 steps ahead of your opponent. Suddenly, they just don't see it coming. I mean, now, as we look at this real quick, is there any items to jump out at you? Anything surprising numerically?
Nothing in particular. I think most of the builds are fairly standard. The Batiste build, still a little bit questionable in my mind. He was actually playing more of a frontliner for his team, though. And with the Samuel and Celeste, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially because Glaive was doing some pretty significant damage with his basic attacks. But I really like the War Tread pickups from Adagio, from Lance, just being able to speed up the entire team. And Teleport Boots coming in absolutely instrumental for Rona, even for Glaive, in that backdoor attempt.
I think that's super smart and a good call out on the War Treads coming in for the Adagios. It makes a lot of sense there. So, yeah, what a fun first game that we're going to be casting now. We do have 3 total. These are just best of ones, right? So we'll be getting into the second matchup here pretty shortly.
Absolutely. So we're going to have Singapore moving on to the grand finals. And next up, we do have China up against Korea. So these are 2 fairly powerhouse regions. I'm going to be interested in seeing how they match up in 5v5.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. They're kind of like, just all-star teams representing their region here. So it's the best of the best.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it looks like we do have the next game ready to go. So let's hop right on into that.
All right, here you go. The players have made their way very quickly, able to swap out seats with the other players and get into position here, Zekent.
Absolutely, absolutely. Swapping out, just swapping on a new VOD. We're good to go. That being said, this is going to be a very interesting matchup because at the Worlds last year, China was a very strong region. They were not able to go all the way, but they put up very, very solid performances.
Yeah.
And we all know Korea is an absolute powerhouse in Vainglory, so I'm very interested in seeing how this all plays out.
Yeah, there's pretty talented players on both sides here. These are big names that we can see in this game. And it's just going to be a bloodbath back and forth. A lot of aggressive heroes that we see picked here. Obviously, the Kroll for Tasa. We see the Glaive on Suri. On one side, you go the other side. We've got a Koshka, right? Koshka's going to be moving through this map with a lot of aggression. The Rona, we've just seen the Power Samuel as well. Churnwalker. Now, this is a hero we've been seeing getting picked a lot competitively.
Churnwalker is a very interesting one, right? Because Churnwalker is great if you can land your chains. If you miss them, you're going to be kind of tough out of luck. That being said, Korea has picked a fairly melee-heavy composition. They have Glaive, they have Kroll, they have Arden. So Churnwalker should have a fairly easy time surviving in these fights. But what's going on right here?
It's a sneaky play, Zekent. Churnwalker doesn't... He could be landing so many hook and chains right now, like 3.
He doesn't even know.
100% hook and chain rate land there. Watch, drop a scout cam, and then he's just going to die. He's just going to die of pure fear. It's so funny.
Well, here we go.
Kroll moves in. Shadows empower him. Trust me, on this one, 4v1, he's going to get knocked back. Churnwalker, that's a healing flask, and it feels bad, man! First blood for Korea right off the bat.
That was a little bit questionable coming out from Churnwalker right there. He saw Kroll rush into his jungle, and his first reaction was not to run away.
He's like, nah, this is going to be okay, right?
And then 3 more people come over.
This is just the train behind him that hit him. Okay, so Rona's over here contesting.
Ooh, Celeste got it.
Yeah, Celeste secured. Celeste with that weapon buff is a thing of danger.
So Korea already up to a very, very good start. Rona's about to run Darden.
This is a really tough start for the Rona. Honestly, I mean, if I'm in this game right now as this Rona, I'm like, team, I think we lost.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed the very aggressive early game plays coming out from all of these teams so far. Korea just rushing the enemy jungle. Last game, we had Singapore and Indonesia just swapping jungles off the start. And right now, Koshka just jumping in, roaming into the enemy jungle once again. And China starting to play a little bit more aggressively off of that pretty rough early game start. We do have Sky and Kroll, though.
Looks like Sky starting with Weapon Blade and Book of Eulogies. We know you see that Weapon Sky coming out here. A nice little, like, kind of bait in, and then Suri back there by the Sky. I think that was a smart play. Koshka doing Koshka things. Ooh, a little forward barrage love coming on through.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage right there. And especially because Korea was able to take away most of the jungle of China, they're going to have a little bit of a rough time. China's going to have a little bit of a rough time in this early game. And they really need to do fairly well early game. They have the Koshka on their team, and she is a hero that really needs to get an early advantage.
Yeah, it looks like she's applying the pressure, but really wants to secure those kills here moving forward. Now, this was just starting with the 2 crystal bits. She's going to pick up her boots. She's going to pick up a little cooldown and some armor. So when she does get back into the action, just a little touch stronger. Yeah,
one thing I want to point out in the builds of the side of Team Korea is that they're actually going fairly heavy into weapon right now. Actually, Glaive picks up a chronograph, so potentially going for that Aftershock tension bow build. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I think it's actually a very good idea.
I wish I could have just like created a gif of you with throwing your hands up in that moment, and then I could play that like whenever it was necessary. But yeah, obviously it's not something we see quite often right now. We'll see how it's going to play out now. Rona taking a lot of damage. This is a very aggressive Sky coming out of creation here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And she does have the Arden to back him up. So right now, Rona's going to have to play a little bit more passively, and Arden's starting up the Treant camp.
Yeah, that feels real bad. Honestly, if you're that Rona, you're on the back foot. You're hoping that that healing camp is going to be there for you to keep you out in that lane. All she can do is last hit. Now, that's great having the Book of Eulogies, but if you get too far behind, you're going to have to port home.
Yeah, I'm loving the aggression coming out from Korea right now. They're just constantly in the enemy side of the jungle, and it's just really giving China not really many opportunities to take their own jungle for themselves. But we do see a potential gank coming up right here, and this is going to be... It's going to be close.
Oh, Pouncy Fun, you got trolled! The Surrey Strike comes on through. Creation, really smart plays. Now, the hook and chain is down. That's a lot of damage being spread out there. A Healing Flask comes on through for the Sky. He's going to be just fine, but it does buy just enough time for this Kosh going to go over here, and Harmonious is able to take down this healing camp. It's going to move on to this weapon buff camp as well. There is a scout camp, though, so they know what's going to be happening. Yeah,
Arden's going to look at the steal list, and if he does take it away, that's a lot of golden experience going over to the side of Team Korea, and China really needs to... Ooh, that was close. But Arden's in a lot of danger now.
He is in a lot of danger.
Got those boots?
Predictably, a lot of danger is going to come out there, but yeah, he's going to be okay. Now he's going to hang around the Gold Oak here. That hook and chain is still connected from like a mile away. Wow, a full jungle take, and they're going to just be able to port out of this one.
Absolutely. Krull just rocking into the jungle and just finding everything's already gone. We do see a Storm Crown pick up by the Glaive, and he's looking to actually just stay in his lane, playing a little bit more of a utility role for his team instead of going straight up as a jungler or any sort of damage dealer.
Well, let's see how it's going to work out for him. I feel like just having the cooldown will be great for them. Koshka.
This is a bit aggressive.
Yeah, it's a bit aggressive. You don't want to get turned around, but I guess they did have the Rona, and Into the Fray was off cooldown, so...
They do have Turnwalker and Samuel.
Oh, they have a Drifting Dark and some Malice and Verdict. Who's going to go down first? Krull! It feels like it's going to be you. There you go, and Rona gets the last hit on Arden. Suddenly, two very easy kills for China here.
Yeah, and some very good answers coming out from the side of Team China. Even though they were falling behind a little bit early on, using their heroes that they have, the very aggressive early game of Koshka, they are able to pick up a couple kills. The moment she gets that Aftershock, it's going to be a lot of damage coming out from her, and every single carry in the lanes of Korea needs to be watching out.
Got to be careful right now. There's a bit of pressure coming down onto Celeste here. Celeste needs to just continue to get the last hits. Stay safe underneath that turret. And once again, try to get yourself to that level 8. It's kind of just the magic early game situation for the Celeste.
Yeah, right now the goal is fairly even. We do see Krull potentially jumping onto that. Oh, Rona taking some damage, but not really anything to worry about. She's going to back on right out of there. But in the top side zone, we do see Koshka, Krull, and Celeste just dancing around each other. So Koshka taking a lot of damage.
Oh, Koshka, you got to get out.
Oh,
Solar Storm! That's able to get the last hit right there, and a great kill coming through for Youngju.
Yeah, maybe a little playing around a little bit too much right there.
It's Kitty Cat. What are you going to do?
I feel like that was actually a fairly solid play coming out from Koshka, just buying time for a team.
Samuel around the backside in that Drifting Dark, getting a lot of splash damage down now. And that's going to be a death from above actually connecting there. Rona able to get the Krull, who got isolated because he was forced back. If he had walked straight back down the lane, he was dead for sure.
Yeah, but in the meantime, look at Celeste.
Look at Celeste. Now, I want to see that turret, to be honest with you. That's going to be the important thing. If she's able to get that turret, that will be a great take for them. Now, there's going to be a battle over this weapon buff box. He's trying to zone out the Glaive, but the Glaive can really just afterburn in, stun.
Okay, look at Celeste.
Look at Celeste.
Look at Celeste, indeed. Some solid plays coming
out.
Oh,
Glaive got it. He got it. Oh, man. And then he afterburned out, had his boots as well. I'm out of here.
We do have Ghosting coming up, but I don't think any team is going for that quite this early on. A little bit of fire coming out to do some damage to Turnwalker. Stone being taken away. And this is... Wow.
Oh, he got it! Sorry.
What a guy. What a guy.
I mean, those are some of the most exciting plays of the game so far.
Hey, to be fair, he does have that Storm Crown, so he'll secure those jungle camps a little bit more effectively than his opponents.
So smart. And he just gets the weapon buff. He can do whatever he wants. This guy is so boosted.
It's pretty smart because he knows he's going to have a very rough time in that bottom lane where there's a lot of aggression being put onto him. So he's just going more of that utility sustaining path where he's going to be extremely hard to take down. He's going to be able to get the CS and those last hits underneath the turret with that Storm Crown. And he's going to be able to do some damage, but it's more about that utility. Look at his build. He has a Dragon Heart, he has a Book of Eulogies, he has a Storm Crown. Not a standard build you see every day.
No, you don't see that build every day. It's a great one. I imagine with he'll probably go with like a War Treads or something too.
Yeah.
As far as just utility to help his team out a lot.
Absolutely. Look, going a tank top laner, bot laner, I guess in this case. But Shiver Steel, Stormcrown, likely gonna get a little more utility too. Some more cooldowns, some more damage here and there. But
I think
mostly
the
tank items.
Stormcrown's, the Shiver Steel is pretty smart. We haven't seen this item built a whole lot, but I feel like it's got great utility right now.
Absolutely. The slow is absolutely incredible, especially against team composition of China, where they are all fairly mobile, and most of them are like, take a look at the Samuel, take a look at the Vox. They need to shut those two down in team fights to really be able to shut down China. And Glaive just constantly being in the back line, slowing down the major carries is going to be very effective.
All right, they're onto the turret. Cole moves in that like just a bat out of hell now. He gets Young
Whoa,
Cat and Frenzy
Koshka.
deep back there. The Vanguard comes on through. Koshka, if you go on too far, she's able to get a kill. Sky able to clean up there on the Koshka. Turret will go down. Traded 1 for 1 at this point, but it might turn around. This guy is incredibly mobile, starting to get some good damage down. The Rona dropping low. She'll be able to get that kill. Now the hook and chains are out. Churnwalker on the front side, but Sky onto the Samuel. Celeste steals that kill with the Heliogenesis. I don't know, you earned it, Celeste. Feel good about it. Are they about to get the full team down? Oh my goodness. And down in the bottom, Vox goes down to the Glaive. What just happened, Korea?
And just a second off of getting an ace for Korea. Koshka spawned just at the right time. They are going to be able to take down one turret. They've got 5 kills to their name. They have a 4,000 gold lead now, 9.5 minutes into this game. That is incredible.
That was absolutely nuts. You know, that's the risk you run. Like, when you get in there and you, as soon as the Koshka jumped, I heard you kind of like hesitating kind of sound, just like, I don't know about that, but it gets turned around. You go a little too far. It's very easy with like, for example, when you have an Arden, he can slingshot anybody into battle.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to run away from a Sky.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is extremely well played by Korea. They knew their win condition in that fight, and they absolutely took it. We do see Sky up against Rona and Koshka in the top lane. Arden's going to come back her up. But 3 members versus 3. Celeste is also coming in for backup. I don't know if China knows this.
Well, they're going to realize very shortly. Samuel looks like he was rotating. Yeah, he's going to dip over to the shop and then head up towards that top lane. In the meanwhile, though, Korea able to take Ghostwing.
And just very objective, focused play. They get the kills, but every single time they get the kills, they get the objectives too. And right now, we do see Vox in a lot of trouble.
Oh, no,
yeah, there you go.
He needs 2 blocks at this point. Oh, and the turret stays alive?
Oh, tragedy. It has literally a sliver of health.
Tragedy!
Literally a sliver.
Oh, someone write a eulogy over here. That was rough. All right, now, China. What are you going to make happen here? They're as 4. They get onto this middle turret.
This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. They have 4 members of Team Korea collapsing on them.
They're dropping low with the gauntlet down. There's nowhere to go. Rona, she starts to spin, but she's down. Celeste outranging her opponents. Looks like they'll be going for Kroll. No, this is Churnwalker next. And this is just kite back time for China. This is a rough position to be in. Once again, Sky, she's got that target lock. She'll Suri strike on forward. Very aggressive plays. Cat and Frenzy blocked off. Can you stay alive through this? Oh, no! Sky will go down. Koshka able to get out of that one. Now, Vox. Vox, do you have a breaking point yet? No, not yet, sir. And if he had the breaking point, he would have been chasing, would have been getting himself a kill there, but he's a little bit behind. Koshka, you are playing with fire.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is going to be a very interesting matchup, right? Because the team composition of both Korea and China do have some good amount of late game heroes on their side, but Korea has a little bit more utility for them. They have the Arden, they have the Glaive. Though China has that Koshka and Churnwalker, Koshka just doesn't bring as much to the late game team fight. She really needs to get that early advantage and snowball ahead to be able to do damage in fights or to be tanky enough to survive.
Well, what would it take for her to get back into that position that she'd like to be in?
I think at this point, potentially building, she needs a little bit more damage. She needs to be able to pick off targets who are isolated, though. If she jumps onto Sky, Sky can Suri strike away. Celeste is her primary target, but as long as Celeste sticks with her team, it's going to be very tough to take her down. She really needs to isolate her.
Oh, Glaive. He even popped the ultimate there, but the healing flask bought him just enough time.
Is this
wait for it
turnaround?
to come back the other way. He still doesn't have the breaking point. I'm telling you, when when Godfather gets that breaking point, it's going to be a different story. Suri strike all the way from downtown. That'll be the kill coming through with a Solar Storm. A Trespass buys about a half more second. Korea blowing this game open. Okay, now Koshka made the rotation, able to get the Glaive, but on the backside of this fight. Hello, my name is Sky, and this is my triple kill. I'll be going for more now. Kroll. He's going to Shadows, let the Shadows empower him. He moves on in. This is going to be a dead kitty cat. Oh, feels bad. Poor kitty cat. She was looking at a squirrel probably. Rona, you're just going to stand your ground? She doesn't have boots. She can't run. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go!
She gets taken down. It was a nice try. That was actually some good rotation coming out from the side of China initially, where Koshka was able to go down and pick off that Glaive. That being said, Glaive is not the member of the team of Korea that China needs to take down. He's got almost no damage. He is pure utility, and trying to chase down Glaive with Storm Crown and Spell Sword with the Shiver Steel, he's just going to be afterburning all over the place. Incredibly hard to lock down, but if China is able to catch off a few more members of Team Korea before engaging in a full fight, if he can take some 5-on-4s, that'd be absolutely fantastic for them. That being said, I don't know if they're going to find the opportunity right now. There is good vision placed across the map for Team Korea. You see the scout cams in most of the major choke points.
All right, looks like, yeah, Rona was defending that turret up there as Glaive once again just defensively afterburn. The cooldown very short at this point, could be a couple more seconds. He's just going to boot, get himself out of here. He's stunned up with Yummy Catnip Frenzy, but nobody in range to really follow up, and there's that second afterburn. There's really no way to chase this guy down.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can see Glaive is actually already level 12, the highest level in the game by far.
Gauntlet coming on through the From Hell's Heart. I don't know where the Crow was actually going, but it's time to get out of here. Vox, you're dropping incredibly low at this point. Okay. Click, click, boom! Able to get the kill. Kroll, he's got the weapon buff. He wanted the Rona jumping out of the fray on that one. Korea, they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, at this point they have a pretty substantial gold lead. 8,000 gold, 9,000 gold to their name. It's going to be extremely tough for China to make a comeback right here, especially against Korea's team composition. Sky at this point is an absolute monster, almost untouchable, and nothing can match up against Kroll right now. And we do always have, there you go, cool, just taking Ghost Wing, no problem. It's going to be easy for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a dragon that can,
oh! Not quite, not quite.
They psyched us out.
And Solar Storm.
and the Solar Storm.
So this is a good opportunity for China to potentially look for a 3v5 team fight. But Glaive and Kroll are rotating back towards mid. Vox pushing up against Glaive is going to be quite interesting. See how that plays out. Tremok taking a whole lot of damage. Tasha does jump in, but Sky, as I said, almost impossible to pin down at this point.
Yeah, they were like kind of holding that Vanguard. Now they're going to be able to block off the Yummy Cat and Frenzy. The Boomerang coming through, blocked off as well. This is all of China dropping incredibly low. Sky's got a double kill, looking for the triple kill. That one will go to Kroll, and suddenly China on the back foot. Korea, they find for Godfather, the only member left alive. He was the one that was going toe-to-toe with Glaive down in the bottom lane. And it just feels like China is just falling apart right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Korea just doing so well with their advantage, just constantly taking fights in their favor. And it's not even that they are rotating particularly better at this point. It's that they are stronger than every member of China individually.
Yeah.
So China just can't match up in even fights. So China really needs to look for an opportunity to out-rotate Korea, get a pick-off, but they need to pick off that Glaive, who is untouchable at this point.
I mean, the thing is, though, it's like if Godfather didn't stop him, they would have lost their turret down in bottom because his damage is actually pretty decent. Like, he can shove in by himself. And if Korea is able to take a fight 4v4, 4v5, I don't even know what the solution is. They got this Black Claw. It's going to be pushing down the lane. Once again, Koshka jumps on in. A nice afterburn's going to go ahead and disrupt China. The gauntlet down. They're trapped inside here. It looks like Suri and Darthmon dropping incredibly low. Two members of Korea are going to drop. It's a 2v2 or 2-4-2 at this point. Rona's incredibly low. One more Helio would take her down. Celeste able to get that kill. Churnwalker, I don't think you have the damage in. Uh-oh, Kroll's here. That's going to be a dead Churnwalker, and it's Vox against both the Celeste and the Kroll and the Dragon as well. He's going to have to heal before he even does anything. That's going to be a base turret plus the armory going down. That's a rough position.
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic push coming out from the fight of Team Korea with that Black Claw character. Doing a little bit of damage to the main coastal, but it's not going to be too much. But as I said, winning 5v4 fights, Kroll wasn't even in that fight for the majority of it. He came in at the end just for a little bit of cleanup, but China had already lost by then. They were doing fairly well early on, but leaving Celeste alive. Celeste did so much damage. You saw 600, 700 damage coming out from every single one of those Helios, and she just completely cleaned up.
Completely cleaned up. I didn't see the numbers. I was just like, that's not right. That's not right. Going on. I mean, Celeste, she is obviously hitting her stride right now, and this is just not where you want to be. Got the Broken Myth right now, so any shielding is going to start to be negated as well. I don't see a whole lot of shielding coming out. I guess a couple Aegis is over here. The knockback's not going to be in the position that they would have liked. If he would have found that afterburn into that Kroll's position, that would have been a dead Vox.
Absolutely. And right now we see China just playing extremely defensively. They need to be able to get a little bit more farm for themselves, but their team composition is not even built to be able to take a late game against what Team Korea has. And they really just need to find ways to out-rotate, find ways to control vision, find ways to just get pickoffs, catch Team Korea unsuspecting,
So what's one way that they might be able to force a situation where they can out-rotate their opponent?
I think a good opportunity might be actually use something like minion candy, get the waves pushing in their favor. When someone on Team Korea goes to defend, they can potentially look for a 5v4 or potentially catch someone else on a side lane.
Right.
But they really have to be able to do that. See, they're able to take it on turret, so pretty solid for themselves. Koshka's probably going to take down right here.
Koshka's about to get a triple kill right here, right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I misread that one. Stunned up and taken down. Sky's going to get another kill. Creation 13-2 and 11 at this point. 18.5 minutes in. Korea up 28-10. Vox, get yourself a kill, bud. Oh, no.
It'll do. It'll do. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Koshka was able to put a lot of pressure on the top side of the map. Vox is now able to take Glaive one-on-one and just being able to allow the carries of Team China to farm up a little bit more, close that old gap just by a little bit. They might be able to slowly turn this game around.
Oh my goodness. That Solar Storm was half of Samuel's health right there. He's going to look to port back, but Churnwalker's been caught out. This Sky is just stutter stepping. Some of the funnest stutter stepping you can get is on a Sky right there. Churnwalker's going to die on the backside. Rona's caught in the front here in a bad place and taken down. Kroll's going to get that kill. Korea up 30-11. I mean, what do they want to take? Do you just push right now? Do you just continue to move your control on the map forward?
I think to be safe, waiting for the Black Cloud to come up and just pushing in with Black Cloud is probably the most effective move right here. They should be able to take down the outer turrets completely, so probably looking at pushing top lane right now. They have a fairly large mini wave built up there, and it's going to be up to Team China to just hold out as long as they can, potentially look to send one of their members down to bot lane and just push that out to force someone on Team Korea to respawn. But for now, Team Korea, they're in the driver's seat by far.
Vox, he blocks off the afterburn stun, turns around, throws the weight for it. The stun's going to come out here, catching onto the Koshka. Koshka overstepping herself and getting taken down. Soulstorm off the mark, but it's not really going to matter. They block off the Death Blow Funnel, Surge Strike forward, and just immense loads of damage being dropped as the Vox hits the deck. Now Korea will chase forward, looking to get as many kills as they can and potentially close this game out. Rona has no choice but to stand and fight. That's a triple kill coming on through. That's the ace, and that's going to be good game. Ladies and gentlemen, Korea takes down China.
Absolutely incredibly well played by the side of Team Korea. China put up a fairly solid fight early on, but with that early death on the side of Team China, Team Korea just kind of slowly snowball ahead. China needed that early game advantage, and they were not able to get it.
No, I mean, it started out rough for the Rona, I think, early on.
Just a little bit.
Predicted the game loss right there. No, obviously, it was tough. There were those small moments, you know, the Koshka diving in, that it turned it a little more in their favor. But Korea, very smart plays, and they look really strong. Absolutely.
Very heads-up plays by the side of Team Korea. Just always one step ahead. Just always find the right opportunity to make map movements, finding objectives after every kill, and I think that's the most important thing. They were able to translate their kills into objectives very efficiently.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting to see how Team Singapore matches up against Team Korea in the finals.
All right. Well, Shin Kaigen, without further ado, let's roll that clip.
All right. So here you go. Got the finals. Got Team Korea up against Team Singapore. It's going to be a very interesting matchup because Team Singapore up against Indonesia, that was actually a fairly close match for the majority of it. Korea was a little bit more dominant against Team China.
Yeah.
But we'll see how these two regions match up because Team Singapore, they have proven themselves time and time again. At Worlds this past year, Team Singapore absolutely showed up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of the craziest games we had came out of that region. But right here, right now, this is going to be a very intense game. These players are ready to go, and what a quick load into the game here. Incredibly quick. And we're going to have a couple different heroes sprinkled out through these compositions, some that we've seen before, but what stands out to you here?
You got the Churnwalker, the Vox, the Koshka, the Rona, and the Kestrel. I actually really like the Kestrel pickup right here. Being able to snipe out at long range, especially if she does go that crystal path, she's going to be fairly tough to deal with. And right now, you can see, absolutely going for that crystal path early on, just going to be able to do a lot of damage at long range, especially up against that Ringo-Samuel combination. The Black Feather, though, Crystal Black Feather is a very interesting one because it's something that you use to match up against that Kestrel, but with a little bit more ability, a little more ability to escape from fights. And it does look like Team Korea is looking to play more of that pokey long-range game.
Yeah, well, it looks like they can afford to do that. Now, as far as early rotations here, I don't see anybody that feels like they're in a position where they're going to be caught out as opposed to like our last game.
We got Churnwalker walking into the enemy side jungle, no problem whatsoever. Walks right by ours. Samuel is looking to close in on that. We do have an issue with the Spectator, so we will not see health bars on top of the heroes right now. But we do see Churnwalker.
You mean right now or the whole game?
Probably the whole game, not actually sure. We'll find out. So it's going to be a little bit iffy.
This is how we should train for casting. I think this is like, yeah, casting with ankle weights on.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, now we can really test how much we've been playing and watching Vainglory, because we should be able to predict based off of how many attacks and abilities they're getting down. If we're like, one more attack, they're going to get the kill.
Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, do have Koshka taking away that red buff for herself, and she's going to be able to just rotate around the map, potentially put a little bit of aggression on it, especially with that early weapon orb on her. She's going to be able to put a lot of pressure onto all the laners of Team Korea, so they're going to be playing a little bit safe.
All right, well, it's going to be Vox down here. He's just getting the last hits. He's going to try and shove this wave. Probably going to just port back. He hasn't been back yet.
I guess I want to point something out. We have Lane Arden right now, Stormguard, Book of Eulogies. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because we have seen that in the past. Crystal Arden is somewhat effective, especially if you get...
It's incredibly effective.
Incredibly effective, assuming you get some items.
If
you get wrecked early on, you got a very rough time.
You lose.
You lose. But if you get that aftershock, you get that clockwork and stuff,
yeah,
you hit real hard.
Oh man, it is incredibly fun. It's one of my favorite builds in the entire game. Now, Koshka's going to move on forward. Have that weapon buff, just a little bit of maybe slow apply there. It just helps out with the ganks and rotations a little bit. But it's going to be okay. You can see all these players sitting there pretty healthy at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we should be watching out for, though, is if Koshka comes to rotate and ganks in the lane, will she be able to push into the side of... If she is able to push the main wave into a turret, it'll allow her teammates to go back, pick up some items, and potentially get some more power for themselves. So we'll see what she does with that early advantage, and especially because she is so powerful in that early game.
All right, well, things have calmed down. Vox has a moment where he's going to look to take the healing camp away from his opponent, so this is a really nice move now. Arden moves over. He's going to be able to get the last hit. Arden, you going to be able to get it? Oh, he got it!
You don't fight against someone with the Stormguard. It just doesn't really work out.
You don't go toe-to-toe with Arden. It's not going to happen. And Ringo goes down to Churnwalker, or Ringo takes the Churnwalker down up in the top lane, rather. The camera will flip over there, and we can see his dead body laying right in the lane. Looks like a minion candy was used as well, so we're seeing a little bit of that minion candy action coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think minion candy is actually going to be very instrumental in seeing how it's being played going forward, because being able to push out waves is actually instrumental in a 5v5 matchup, where if you're able to force one member of the opposing team just defending against minions, that's 4v5 on the rest of the map. If you're able to take advantage of that, it's a very easy way to get ahead.
So I want to see the strategies of just like the dual minion candy pops like in bottom and top, and then everybody rush in the mid.
That would be interesting to see, just see which minion wave is stronger. Yeah. Alright, but in any case, we do have Team Korea with one kill up on their opponents. It's a little bit of a gold lead. You do have Koshka jumping in. This is a little bit dangerous. Yeah, dangerous position. She's dropping incredibly low. You can see it forced to use the healing flask there. And is that Crystal Tyrion go the way of Samuel? Yep, she'll get out just fine. But right now you do see Team Korea, they have picked up both of the Crystal Orb buffs on Catherine and Samuel. So able to take away a couple of the jungle camps from Team Singapore. Pretty good for themselves.
Pretty nice, and once again, it's Vox. He just shoves the wave. He's going to get into the jungle, maybe look to share some of this gold. Looks like Koshka holding that gold camp down there. And meanwhile, it's just Queasy on this CP Kestrel farming out in mid. It's going to be doing his best to just shove that lane, get as much gold as possible. What do you expect, the kind of like the Shatterglass clockwork kind of build coming out there?
Coming out from Kestrel, I'd actually expect to see a couple Shatter Glasses, so maybe 1 or 2 Shatter Glasses going into that clockwork would be very effective. Just constantly dropping those one-shot one kills by refreshing it with the Glimmer Shots. And especially when she goes down to siege turrets, she does so much damage.
It's pretty insane, and we'll see how this is going to work out. I think it's actually going to be pretty good against like the couple squishies that they have if she's able to get into a good position. Rona forcing Ringo back in the lane, he'll turn around, pop her a couple times, but no real problem having the Churnwalker here to back him up.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it looks like things are pretty even across the map right now. Koshka's getting some pretty good farm for herself. Blackfeather just a little bit behind, but the aftershock coming out on Blackfeather pretty early on is going to be able to do a lot of damage with his ganks.
Right now, this is a lot of damage coming out as Blackfeather. He gets onto the Churnwalker. Churnwalker goes down, drops so fast right there. And with this advantage, we'll see if Korea wants to put some pressure onto this turret. It's just, at this point, maybe where you look to group up to push some of these turrets around the 6-minute mark.
Right, this is one of the weaknesses of that Churnwalker pick. He is extremely immobile, especially early on. He does have that trespass later in the game, but for now, he's not really able to get away from anything that jumps onto him, so he really needs to play a little bit safer.
This is the story we've seen with a lot of the Churnwalkers picked recently. Like, he does so much, but yeah, you get caught, there's no way out right there.
In the meantime, Do see Samuel getting taken down, so Koshka putting a little bit of her mobility and damage to use right there. Do see rotations coming down from Team Korea to defend that mid lane against this push. And Kestrel did a little bit of damage to that turret, and just back on right out of there.
Yeah, that's Kestrel just trying to land those glimmers from long range. It looks like she's going to get jumped on. Boom, active camo, look to kite back. Right now, Merciless Pursuit
coming out.
The Koshka. Glimmer shots are going to come through. A little bit of splash damage. Healing Flask popped off by the Koshka. Churnwalker drops on over here. Blackfeather, he's going to get closed in on. This is a bad place to be as Rona makes rotation over. Blackfeather takes down the Koshka. Rona takes down the Blackfeather. And that is going to be a win for Singapore?
I feel like that's a win for Singapore because Ronan needs that farm early on. We do have Blackfeather going for that Crystal Path, which is probably not as good as dueling as that Ronan. And if Ronan does get ahead, she's going to be incredibly tough to deal with. I don't think there's anyone on the side of Team Korea that can actually take her one-on-one. And a very interesting pickup in terms of items, we see Catherine with the extremely early Echo.
Holy nuts! I did not realize that actually. I mean, how are you looking to use that? Is that the double stun? Or are you going to be like just the front line and like a double Stormguard? I mean, what's the play?
I think you have options, right? Obviously, Blast Charm is absolutely fantastic with that Echo. That being said, up against Crystal Kestrel, being able to block those Glimmer shots is going to be huge. Yeah. If she is able to drop that Stormguard, Kestrel blasts her 4 times in the face, she's going to kill her own team.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. That would be pretty troll, Kestrel. Don't do that to your own team.
All right, in the meantime, we do have Samuel just run away.
Such fear out of the Samuel. He had the river move speed buff, and he used his boots on that one. He was like, I am out of here, team. Now, Blackfeather, he looks like he's about to get collapsed on. Koshka is going to be playing games with the Samuel up around the top side of the shop here, and it is just a mess, team. I'm not playing games with you. This is Catherine. She's going to be looking to just stun up these targets, and somehow Korea gets himself out of that one. It felt like Blackfeather was going to get closed in on.
Yep, pretty solid moves right there. We do have Vox, though, rotating up for Samuel. We're probably not going to be able to do too much right here. Potentially looking to jump him. Nope, go back on right out.
Get him.
And it looks like we actually have Arden in the bot lane doing fairly well for himself. 55 CS to his name. He has the Stormcrown. He's going for the Aftershock. He's going to be doing some pretty good damage with his Gauntlet and Blood for Bloods.
Oblivion's going to put them to sleep as that is Samuel taking down the Vox. He was too low, shouldn't have hung around there. Hellfire Brew connected onto the Kestrel. She turns around, dropping a couple Glimmer shots, but has to stay at range. Now look at Rona rotating over the top side. She's going to look to jump into the fray on her target, maybe get that foe splitter, and then, yep, there you go. They take him down. Kestrel able to get that kill. Turret dropping low at this point. You can tell Korea really wants to get in there and finish it off. And a couple more last hits, it would have done so. Ringo takes down the Churnwalker. It's going to be another stun onto the Rona. Rona, you overstepped yourself. She's going to jump back in. Oh, takes the Ringo down. The huge turnaround coming out here. And Kestrel might be able to take down Samuel if Samuel is not careful at this point. Wow, this is a nice defense from Singapore.
Yeah, speaking about worrying about Rona getting ahead, she just jumped right back in, absolutely no fear, playing very aggressively in a situation where she had just a sliver of health left. She's going to rotate back to top lane, get the healing treatment for himself. They are able to take down a turret on the bot side with Arden as he's been pushing this entire time.
Arden, such efficiency, right? Like, what a hero, what an item build, and what strategies.
Yeah, I'm actually liking this build quite a bit because he's able to Vanguard his teammates a little bit more often. He's going to be able to drop that Gauntlet very often. And the Blood for Blood does some pretty solid damage. I mean, I'm sure you play a good solid amount of Crystal Arden.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about how it works.
Well, I play it very differently than most people. We can get into that here in a second. Okay, he's going to be going away. Now, I play it like it's a CP Kestrel.
There you go.
Like 2 Shattered Glass, Clockwork, and then whatever else you need in the game.
Interesting.
Like, don't judge me for it. You will lose the game or hold on. There's more to say than you will lose the game. Ringo, he's on target. Rona, well, she's going to turn around. Maybe one of those situations like she just found herself in. She will go down. Blackfeather gets that kill. Now the Koshka, she wants to jump in. The reflex was used very early. She'll pop her own. Looks like, Blackfeather.
Koshka doing the deeps.
Yeah, it's just going a little too intense. But yeah, I was going to say, if you go that build on the Arden, you will lose the game if you get invaded early. But if you're up against like kind of passive opponents where you can get into like the mid to late game, there is almost nothing in the game that's as much fun as dropping a gauntlet with immense crystal power.
Absolutely, absolutely. And right now, Suri is doing extremely well on that Crystal Arden, essentially getting 68 9 CS to his name, probably about the highest in the game right now. And that is absolutely fantastic news for him and his teammates. Right now, a little bit of a gold lead going over to the side of Team Korea. Looking at the item builds, though, the Echo on Catherine very early on is going to be able to shut down that Rona very effectively. She's going to not be able to use that Red Mist as often as she would like. And looking at her build with the Serpent's Mask, she is looking to spin.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. I feel like this is kind of maybe like take a feather out of the cap of what Korea did at Worlds. Like you saw, like when it made sense, they switched to actually like the just basic attack build coming out of the Lunar. Feels like it could make sense here, but
And look at this Kestrel, this damage flying out from those Glimmer shots over and over. They are gonna lose their turret though, and Korea just gonna rotate right on down to bot lane, potentially picking up a little bit of items for themselves. Why not? And potentially defending against that box, but their mid turret is potentially exposed, and this is a good opportunity for Singapore to push on in.
Opportunity for Singapore. A nice rotation down to Korea, but yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead and dip back. They realize this is not really where we want to be applying pressure right now. So Turnwalker, he gets the hook and chain down onto the calf. Samuel's there in the lane. Just got that splash damage out of the mouse.
Do have a trap chilling there. No one's gonna walk into it. They see it. They see it. There's a flare that came out.
Yeah. I mean, the flare is incredibly important. One shot connects onto the Catherine there. It's going to be quite all right. Hellfire Brew is getting wound up. It's going to go into the Turnwalker. Turnwalker is the target. We'll see. Black Feather wasn't able to get on target, but the Gauntlet coming around the bottom side here. Arden starting to set this fight up. Koshka jumped on in there. It's the Turnwalker down. It's going to be the Koshka down as well. Vox, no, he's able to take down the Catherine. And it looks like Arden turns around, takes down the Rona, and they're just on the run now, trading the damage out. Samuel's like, all right, if you want to chase, I'm in my Drifting Dark. You have to like avoid the Malice of Verdict while throwing Glimmer shots. It's a tricky position to be in.
Absolutely, and this is incredible play coming out from the team side of Team Korea. They were able to take a fight very aggressively. Arden just jumped around in with that Gauntlet after Team Singapore had started doing some engaging. And Team Korea, their health dropped fairly low, but they're able to swap out who was in the front lines, who was taking the damage, and Team Singapore just couldn't quite finish anyone off.
It's easily baited in kind of situation. It's you said like Vanguard's coming up a little bit more often because of this kind of build here, but that's one of the reasons that they're having such a hard time getting onto these key targets, because someone gets focused down, boom, they get Vanguarded, they're a little bit more durable, they have that move speed, they just back up and then reposition. It's really smart.
Absolutely. So right now, you see Catherine rotating on in, does not, oh. Unfortunate.
She was ready to throw that blaster mare, forgot to put it away, I guess. One of those kind of things.
Unfortunate. All right, Turnwalker.
The chase is on. Looks like they want Samuel. That's Kath on the backside. She's going to be stunned up. Now, if they switch, this is going to take a little while to take her down. The bubble's going to be up, but okay. Yeah, that was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. Now, Trespass in. Ringo, do they have enough to chase here? What's the play going to be? Is the one shot comes through a little bit wild. You can see they want to spread, so they're not taking that splash damage coming in from the Samuel. As the on-point start to rain down from Tasa, just trying to put this CP Blackfeather to work. Not a hero that we've seen played too much, and especially in the CP path.
All right, you see a couple scout cannons being dropped by the red side. Team Korea just getting a little bit more vision control for themselves, and Team Singapore having to back off, taking a lot of damage from the poke of that Crystal Blackfeather. Tasa doing some serious work. As long as he lands his abilities, moral wounds is going to be pretty huge too.
No, it's real. I mean, we've seen that coming through pretty much every single one of these fights. Is getting in on one or two targets. Jumps in right when Blackfeather is able to secure that up. She's got to get out of there. Nope, you're done.
That is not where she wants to be. I feel like at this point they really need Rowan to be able to go split push.
Oh, not the gauntlet you wanted either. Koshka's going to be going down, starting to drop low. She bought that reflex just at the end. Dip back the other way, trying to buy some time. Got to use that movement speed. Koshka, the play. She'll go down. Tasa able to get that kill as the fight continues. Kath was looking for a stun, but it's going to go ahead and back up. It looks like Samuel made the call. Let's go ahead and reposition around our Ringo. Ringo on the front side, trying to push this mid lane turret down. Another Drifting Dark, another round of Malice and Verdict coming on through. Turnwalker, he's able to tank up just enough. He's going to keep that turret alive. Arden down in the bottom takes himself another turret.
Arden just does not care about the damage coming out from Vox right now. Vox has breaking point. He has the point of shiv, but up against Arden, who is just not particularly mobile, but he does a lot of damage right now, so it's going to be actually very difficult for Vox to duel him one-on-one, especially because Arden is level 12 already, along with most of the other players on this game. But one thing to point out is both the Catherine and the Turnwalker are level 8 right now, and that's going to make a pretty big difference because Catherine really wants to get her stuns up more often, and Turnwalker on the other side really needs to be able to pull in those carries a lot more often.
I mean, what's that the result of? Is it just because they've been fighting over vision, they're making sure the experience goes on their core players? Well, maybe hold that thought as we get into this full team fight here.
Not going to happen right on there. Turnwalker, though, it's really interesting because they are making a lot of plays across the map. They are rotating to the lanes, soaking up a little bit of experience and gold here and there. But I think the big thing is they really want to get their carries up to level 12 as soon as possible, just give them as much of an advantage in terms of damage as possible. That being said, some of the abilities on these captain heroes are extremely powerful. Black Claw being started up. I don't even think Singapore is going to respond, so Black Claw captured. In the meantime, though, we do have Vox pushing down that bot lane. Koshka's with him, but I don't think Vox should recall here. Even though they do need to defend against Black Claw, they could take a free turret.
Right. At least maybe hang around just a little bit longer, like force somebody back so your team has the advantage in numbers when you do get back to defend it. Right now, they're all back, so this is going to be a full-on defense out of Singapore's. Korea are on the offensive. They drop the gauntlet, stunning up the Rona. The blast tremor coming on through as well. They take 2 kills and the turret right off the bat. Now they're going to be able to do whatever they want. Black Claw still incredibly healthy. And this is not a situation, I mean, the CP Kestrel doesn't do incredibly well in this kind of situation because, yeah, you got good burst damage, but this Black Claw's got a lot of health. Samuel and the Drifting Dark just throwing the Malice Converted, clipping that the Kestrel right there, and Blackfeather moves in. He takes down the Vox. Arden takes down the Koshka. It looks like Korea are doing it at this point. I mean, they can skip the armories. They get the ace right here and just get onto the Vein Crystal because why not? 17-7, 17 minutes in. Korea, after a pretty decent early mid-game situation, just started dominating Singapore. They're going to be taking this victory and going to be taking the...
Yeah, and absolutely. That was a fantastic play coming out from the side of Team Korea, just constantly dominating, and they see our victors of the game. They're pretty pleased with themselves.
Calm down, guys!
They're like just finishing off the little bit more damage right there, fighting the heroes at the end. Taking down Singapore one last time.
I hope they had health bars. They're like, did we get it?
I think they'll be fine.
All right, well, these guys. You got something to smile about. Look at these nice guys.
WESG champions, Korea right there.
WESG champions. Feels good. I hope they get a trophy or something.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, but absolutely fantastic plays coming out from the side of Team Korea. Their rotations were on point, just constantly one step ahead of their opponents. Being able to just take the fight every single time, even in situations where the games were even. When Singapore was matched up against them in gold, they were still able to outfight, out-rotate, just outplay them every single time.
Nice. Well, you see these players walking out. They're going to go ahead and shake hands right now. Probably just telling their opponent, like, I would have outplayed you, like, if I didn't have, like, this problem or whatever. No, they're good sports right here. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Korea, your WESG champions. Accept your trophy. Thank you very much.
There you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Let's shake your hand right there. Awesome. Well, congratulations.
All right. Some fantastic stuff coming out from all these teams at this event. So, Singapore versus Indonesia, China versus Korea, Korea up against Singapore, and Korea takes the game and takes the championship. Extremely well played by those guys. Extremely
well played. It looks like they had some fun too, and it's nice that they get a little competitive action, before the preseason even really kicks off.
Absolutely.
So really cool stuff. Not a lot's changed. I mean, Korea obviously a powerhouse.
Oh yeah.
You can see that they continue to get better and better, but yeah, I mean, we don't have much more to say here. Zekent, do you want to say anything before we sign out of here?
Thank you guys for watching. It's been absolutely fantastic. We will see you next time.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. That's it for now, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.